TGIF, we got a full 15-game slate on a Friday. Let's talk some baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven. Congrats, you have made it to the end of the week. That's right. Happy Labor Day weekend out there. Hopefully you guys have a fun weekend plan. It's me and my wife's 12-year anniversary already. I don't know where the time goes. But anyways, yesterday was a 2-0 day with one push. We will take it. A nice little mini sweep. We'll go over the recap in just a little bit. Of course, any graphics you see in this video are from an app called OUTLIER, the best betting research tool on the market today. Click that link below in the description. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's get into it. I got a little dad joke for you on a Friday. Why can't you tell secrets in a cornfield? There are too many ears around. Interesting. In this video, we're going to recap yesterday, and then we're going to go over the good and bad hitter matchups. And I have not done this in a while, so we are going to head out to the pen, give you a little bullpen report, and then, of course, we'll give you the best pitcher strikeout matchups, the entire 15-game pitcher report, and end it with the best bets and the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. Next week, in yesterday's video, I actually mentioned to you guys about the schedule for the NFL, but it's starting next week, and we got a lot to get into. I cannot wait. So let's get it rolling, and that means it's recap time. All right, as you can see, my beautiful face is not in the corner, which means Ryan is gone. So I will be recording and editing and doing it all tonight, so bear with me. But how about a nice 2-0 day? Brave team total over 3.5, 3 runs in the first, and then they made us wait till the 5th or 6th inning, I don't even remember, to finally get the 4th run. I almost went with the full game over. Would have been a lot less stressful. I mean, the Phillies scored 100 runs, got the job done. The second one, this was crazy. Jared Triolo and Alec Bohm, 1+ hit each. Why was it crazy? Well, Triolo didn't start, but then he came in to pinch hit. Of course he did, but he got a single. He absolutely clutched up. And then Alec Bohm was the very last Phillies hitter to get a hit today. That's right. I don't care how they did it. They got the job done. Pirates' first 5 innings money line. Didn't watch the game, but saw it was 1-1 after 5. Looks like Ashcraft pitched well. Pirates' offense just could not do enough. I thought they'd get at least 2 runs, and that's all we needed, but they only got 1. I think they had some chances. It just didn't cash, but again, it's a push. That's why you take it, plus 105. But that's what we got. Nice 2-0 day on a short slate on Thursday. Let's have a good Friday heading into the weekend. There's a breakdown, overall record, and all the game bets, pitcher props, hitter props, etc., etc. So let's get it rolling now, and that means it's time for the hitter matchups. All right, we have a ton of good hitter matchups for you today. Mr. Jose Altuve, how about 9 for 28 with a ding-dong off of Tyler Anderson. Mookie Betts, 7 for 23 off Gallon of Milk. And then you see Devers there, a couple home runs off of Dean Kramer. Yordan Alvarez, yes, he is back for the Astros. 8 for 21, 6 extra base hits, and 3 home runs off the lefty Tyler Anderson. As you know, if you don't know Alvarez, he's a good lefty-on-lefty hitter. And then you keep going down the list. You got Getting Jiggy with it, 7 for 20 off of Gallon. Javi Baez, 6 for 18, so on and so on. Over there on the right side, Stephen Kwan, 5 for 11 off of George Kirby. Rengifo, 5 for 11 with a home run off Javier. And then you go down the list, you got a 5 for 10, Dansby Swanson versus Herman Marquez. Ramirez, 5 for 9, and then we end it with Polanco. Now, this is just page 1. Let's check out page 2, and we got some more. We got Mr. Dingler, 3 for 9 with a home run off Lugo. Adames, who's been swinging a better bat lately. Perez, 4 for 8. Castellanos, how about 3 bombs? 3 hits off of Bryce Elder, all 3 for home runs. Not surprising, it's Elder. But Alec Bohm, 3 for 7, all singles against Elder. And Kyle Tucker, 3 for 7 against Herman Marquez. So that's what we got for the good hitter matchups. Now let's take a look at the bad hitter matchups. Not a ton of guys with a lot of strikeouts. Mike Trout over there, 0 for 12 with 8 Ks off Christian Javier. Again, Javier's a little rusty right now, just coming back, but that's pretty surprising to me. But you got a couple Detroit Tigers over there. Torkelson, 3 for 16. Kerry Carpenter, 3 for 16. 10 Ks combined between the two of them. Gurriel is 2 for 15 with 7 Ks off Snell. And then, of course, the most Ks actually is Taylor Ward, 1 for 14 with 9 Ks off of Javier. So that's what we got for all the hitter matchups. Now let's head out to the pen. All right, here it is, the top 7 ERAs and the bottom 7 ERAs as a bullpen in the last 3 weeks. I usually do this every few weeks or so, but I'm going to give you the ERAs and also the SIERA. It's kind of one of those predictive numbers, somewhat similar to XFIP, expected ERA, that kind of stuff, but it's SIERA. As you can see down there at the bottom, skill interactive earned run average eliminates factors the pitcher cannot control himself, and it helps predict that ERA moving forward. Just one of those tools, just to kind of let you guys know on some more details. But top 7 ERA, I never would have thought I would be saying the Athletics have the number 1 ERA in the last 3 weeks, but they do. 2.09, 3.49 SIERA. Giants, another surprise there. Tiger, especially when they traded some guys away. Tigers 2.7, Padres, Royals, Brewers, and Cardinals. Some real big surprises up there in the top 7. Just, if you're wondering why teams are playing well, that's one of the reasons. And the A's are playing well. Giants have now won 5 straight. And then we go over to the bottom 7 ERAs. We have a couple surprises and a couple not surprises. Obviously, the Rockies, no surprise. White Sox, not much of a surprise. But the Astros are dead last. In fact, 3 AL West teams are in the bottom 7 right now. The Mariners, the Rangers, and the Astros. It has not been pretty. If you look at the Mariners number, as you can tell, it's not going to hold for very long. 3.79 SIERA, obviously the best in the bottom 7, but 4.91 ERA. They'll pick it up. They've usually been better than that all season. But the Mets have been up and down, and then you see the Rangers there. Marlins, 5.59. They've actually had a pretty good bullpen all season long. They've just been really struggling lately with a high SIERA, too, at almost 5. So that's what we got for the bullpen report. Now, let's talk some Ks. All right, we only got 1 good pitcher strikeout matchup for you today, but we're going to go over the next 5 as you see there. But Robbie Ray against the Orioles. Baltimore's 7th highest K rate versus lefties, 24%. Ray about a K per inning. But I'm going to be honest with you, he's all over the place with his Ks. Last 5 starts, 0. That's right, 0 in like 5 innings last start. 6, 4, 8, and 6 strikeouts. Slightly lower K rate at home, 23.8 compared to on the road, 24.8. Not much different. Higher K rate versus righties, though, by a little over 5%. Now, other high strikeout pitchers, in case you're wondering, hey, why didn't they make it? Well, Skeens is facing the Red Sox. Boston, 10th lowest K rate versus righties in the last 3 weeks. So, not an easiest matchup. Freddie Peralta versus the Blue Jays. Toronto, as you guys know, 2nd lowest K rate versus righties, 17.9%. It's been like that pretty much all season long. Yuri Perez at the Mets. Mets now have the 4th lowest K rate versus righties in the last 3 weeks, 18.6. Carlos Rodon at the White Sox. They have the absolute lowest K rate in the major leagues in the last 3 weeks. It's crazy. Obviously, 3 weeks versus lefties can be a somewhat small sample size. I think it was like 180 at bats or something, but still 12.3% K rate is nuts. And then Zebby Matthews against the Padres. We know San Diego doesn't strike out either. 5th lowest K rate versus righties in the last 3 weeks at 18.9%. So that's what we got for the Ks. Now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, here are the first 8 matchups of the day. If you're new to the channel, all the averages are on the bottom to help you out. We like to give as much info as humanly possible to help you guys out and save a lot of time with your bets and your research. So the first one, Matthew Liberatore versus Zach Littell. Liberatore's pitch limit has gone down. He has not thrown more than 80 pitches in 4 straight starts, and he's also given up 10 earned runs in his last 13.1 innings. You see a low K rate there for him. And then Zach Littell, it's been up and down so far with the Reds. In his 4 starts with them, giving up 1, 4, 1, and 3 earned runs, 6 walks, which doesn't seem like a lot in 4 starts, but for Zach Littell it is. You see that 4.3% walk rate. He also has 3 Ks exactly in 3 straight, so not missing many bats, obviously. In fact, these first 4 pitchers do not miss bats. Adrian Hauser versus Mitchell Parker. Hauser's given up 3+ earned runs in 5 of his last 6 starts now. He also has 4 less Ks in 4 of those 6. And then Mitchell Parker, he is currently a bottom 5 starting pitcher in this league, probably, when you don't take into account the Rockies pitchers. Sorry. But giving up 4+ earned runs in 5 straight starts. Bryce Elder, this is a guy who I've said is not good all season long, but he is alternating some decent starts in there with some terrible starts. Last 5 starts, 2, 5, 2, 8, and 2 earned runs. Now, 2 of those 2 earned run starts were against the Mets. I lost both bets, of course. So apparently he just kind of owns the Mets. But Ranger Suarez is the opponent. Turned it up big time with his swing and miss stuff lately. He has 10 and 11 strikeouts in his last 2 starts. That's over 13.2 innings with only 7 hits allowed and 2 earned runs. And then we got Freddie Peralta versus Shane Justin Bieber. I mean, Peralta's been nails lately. That's what the kids say, right? Nails. Anyways, now thrown 18 consecutive scoreless innings with only 10 hits allowed in his last 22 innings. Bieber electric in his first start with 9 Ks and just 2 hits allowed with 1 earned run at Miami. Really looked good in his rehab starts as well. So, I mean, if he continues at this pace, he is a huge addition to this Toronto Blue Jays rotation. And then Paul Skeens versus TBD right now for Boston. But Skeens been a little bit more inconsistent than usual in August, but when I say inconsistent, he has a 3.21 ERA. That's high for him. It's still very good. He's a stud. TBD, great arm. Kirby versus Allen. Kirby's command is not quite there. He's a guy who was setting historic numbers when it comes to his walk rate and all that, but right now he's not. He has limited some hits outside of one bad start versus the Mets. But other than that, he's been decent. We're still still hoping he finds his old form a little bit more. And then Logan Allen, the lefty, coming off his worst start of the season by far, gave up 8 hits and 9 earned runs with 3 walks at Texas, 2 or less earned runs in the 4 prior starts to that. And then Yuri Perez versus Tong. Now, Perez, continuing a pretty solid season, did struggle in his last 2 starts, but they were both on the road at Cleveland and at Atlanta. Tong for the Mets. Here's what I'm going to tell you about him. I did a little digging for you because I did not know who this guy was. 22-year-old. He's a 4th-ranked prospect in the Mets farm system, 44th overall in the MLB pipeline, 1.59 ERA and 20 AA starts, and he went 11.2 scoreless innings with 17 Ks in AAA. All the numbers, everything, what everything said or everyone says about him, he's a pretty good pitcher. Carlos Rodon versus Gomez. Rodon giving up 2 or less earned runs in 4 straight starts, but just 5 Ks or less now in all 4 starts. And then gave up only 1 hit in 2 of those 4 starts. So he's kind of one of those hit or miss. He could be dominant and not give up many hits, or he could, lose his command and all that. But Gomez of the White Sox, in his 3 starts, he's been good in 2 of them. 5 or less innings in all 3, and gave up 2 hits or less in 2 of the 3 starts. So that's all the rambling I have for page 1. Let's go ramble some more now with page 2 and the final 7 matchups. And we start with Tyler Anderson versus Christian Javier. Anderson, rough season, gone 5 or less innings in 4 of his last 5 starts, and given up 14 earned runs in those 23.2 innings. Christian Javier, like I said, he's making his return. 10 innings only thrown. He's been a bit shaky in those 3 starts. He had 4 walks last start with 3 earned runs. Pitch count's kind of all over, 85, then 50, then 65. So we'll see where he goes there. And then we got Chris Paddock versus Seth Lugo in Kansas City. Paddock all over the place right now. Last 4 starts, giving up 4, 1, 8, and 1. The 2 bad starts also were both versus Minnesota. And Lugo, it's been a struggle lately, to say the least, giving up 6 or more earned runs in 3 of his last 4 starts with 10 walks. That is no bueno. Nestor Cortez versus Zebby Matthews. Cortez coming off a 6-inning, 1-hit gem against the Dodgers with 0 walks. Everybody saw that coming, right? But he's been decent in his 4 Padres starts overall. He does have trouble with the long ball a little bit, but other than that, you know what you get from him. He doesn't throw hard. Zebby Matthews gives up a lot of hits, but also misses some bats. Command has left him in his last 2 starts with 7 walks over 8.2 innings. And then Cade Horton versus German Marquez. Horton continues to be one of the best starting pitchers in this league right now in the second half. Since the All-Star break, this is insane, guys. He has only given up 2 earned runs and 17 hits in 38 innings. And nobody's talking about him. 2 earned runs in the last 38 innings. German Marquez, now, again, he's facing Colorado in Coors Field in elevation. Can he keep it up? We'll see. But Marquez first start since July 20th. But he's another low strikeout pitcher that gives up a lot of runs for the Rockies. Just rinse and repeat. I will say he's had some decent starts this year as well. Jack Leiter versus Jeffrey Summers. Leiter, I've been impressed with him. Other than his command, he finally had 0 walks last start, which is a miracle, in a 7-inning, 2-hit gem against the Guardians. But with him, you see 7.4 hits per 9, does not give up a lot of hits that way. Most of the reason they get on base a lot is because of that walk rate. He has the ability to walk 4 or 5 in a start. But Jeffrey Springs, been up and down. He's had 3 really good starts in the last 5, getting up a total of 5 hits and 3 earned runs in 17.1 innings. And then we got Gallen versus Blake Snell. Gallen, he's pitched exactly 6 innings in 6 of the last 7 starts. That's a tongue twister. So that shows you he's pitching better lately, really keeping his team in the game when he's throwing, not having as many blow-up starts and all that. But Blake Snell, been solid in his 4 starts since being back, giving up just 5 earned runs in 13 innings with 26 strikeouts and 7 walks. And then Dean Kramer and Robbie Ray finish us off. Kramer coming off one of his worst starts of the year, gave up 6 earned runs on 7 hits in 5 innings versus Houston. And Robbie Ray having a solid season, just ho-humming along, and really giving some good length for the Giants. 6+ innings now in 4 of his last 5 starts. That's a lot. Soak that in. Hopefully that helps you one way or the other. But that's what I got for the pitcher report and all the research help. Now it is time for the best bets. This first one takes us out to Sacramento, where the A's host the Texas Rangers. A's on the money line -130, Rangers money line +110 with a total of 10 runs. Give me the home team, baby. The A's on the money line -130 on BetMGM for a half unit. Almost went 1 unit here, but riding the hot team. That's what we're doing. The A's are 7-3 in their last 10, coming off a sweep of the Detroit Tigers. The Rangers, this lineup will be without Corey Seager now. Marcus Semien and Evan Carter still out. Season's about done for them. Eovaldi's out for the year. It's kind of falling apart for them. But starting pitcher matchup, Jack Leiter versus Jeffrey Springs. So Leiter, he hasn't looked too bad lately, but again, he's a guy who can struggle with his command at any given moment. And obviously pitching in this heat, in this ballpark, it's not easy on a pitcher. But here's an insane stat. This is only going to be Leiter's third road start since July 11th. This man has pitched in Texas a ton lately. So A's have shown patience, have been a top 12 walk team lately versus righties, which is always good whenever you're facing Leiter. I think the A's can get some runners on and pressure him and get some runs here. So Jeffrey Springs, he's obviously very used to pitching in the stadium. He's had a couple rough starts at home lately. But again, this offense he's facing, in my opinion, is pretty bad with all these injuries. He's given up 2 or less hits, though, in 3 of his last 5 starts overall. He is tough to hit when he's on. 125 hits overall this year and 145.1 innings. He faced the Rangers back on May 1st, pitched 6 shutout innings. Now, offenses, huge advantage for the A's here. This offense is absolutely rolling. This team is something you want to look into for next year, that's for sure, as long as they don't trade all their good players away. But they just scored 7+ runs in all 3 games versus the Detroit Tigers. The last 6 righties to face the A's in Sacramento, they scored 5 off of Mize, 5 off of Morton, 5 off of Jose Soriano, 2 off Rasmussen. Obviously, he's a stud. 4 off Boz, 4 off Pepio. I mean, this team is just scoring at will right now at home against righties. They're actually crushing lefties, too. But Rangers offense been average versus lefties in the last 3 weeks. But all those games were, with their lineup when they had Seager. Some of them were with Semien, Evan Carter. They've had a couple blow-up games to make the numbers look big when they scored like 15 runs one game or something. But either way, then we go to the bullpen. You just saw it. I don't know how, but they have. The A's have the #1 bullpen ERA in the last 3 weeks. Rangers, the 3rd highest bullpen ERA. So both bullpens in regards to rest, they both coming off a day off, so it doesn't matter. But I like the A's to take care of business. So give me the A's on the money line as my first best bet. This next one takes us out to Cincinnati, where the Reds host the St. Louis Cardinals. Reds on the money line -126. Cardinals on the money line +104 with a total of 9 runs in this one. I'm going to player prop. Give me Zach Littell over 16.5 outs recorded, +100 on Bet365 for a half unit. Hopefully no manager decisions ruin this one for me, but let's start with Mr. Littell. He's made 4 starts with the Reds. He's over in 2 of 4. He's only made 1 home start out of those 4 in Cincy, though. He went 18 outs versus the Brewers. A very impressive start there. But overall this season, it's not usually a 16.5 outs guy. And in fact, I think I saw 15.5 heavily juiced, but that went away pretty quick. But as you can see by this outlier screenshot, he is over this line in 19 of 26 starts this year. I mean, a really good hit rate. A rocky start last time out, I think, is what's kind of lowering this line a little bit, and I'll gladly jump on it. He's a guy who usually pounds the zone. 23 walks in 151 innings, leading up to last game when he had 3 walks in 3 innings. Very, very unusual for him. He's on extra rest here as well. I think it's 5, maybe 6 days, actually. I think it's 6 days right now. So I'm expecting a full bounce back from him. He's going to have a long leash. And he's facing the Cardinals. Been awful versus righties in the last 3 weeks. 3rd lowest WRC+, 8th lowest walk rate, 6th lowest on-base percentage. So they're not getting a lot of guys on. I expect some quick outs from Littell. So give me Littell over 16.5 outs as my second best bet. All right, we are ending it with a bang. 1 unit play, alt team total parlay. Been a few days since I've done this. Phillies team total over 2.5, Rays over 2.5, and the Dodgers over 2.5. In these 3, I am fading Bryce Elder, Mitchell Parker, and Zach Allen. That's a great start. Now, Phillies team total over 2.5. I shouldn't need to say much here, honestly, why I think the Phillies are going to score 3 runs off of Elder and the Braves bullpen. Their team total, I think, is 5.5 right now. They were a 2-point conversion away from scoring 3 full touchdowns with extra points on Thursday. Absolutely crushed it. Shout out to Kyle Schwarber. Holy smokes. 4 Jimmy Jackson one night. Tried to get a 5th, but either way. Anyways, Bryce Elder, I've said it many times. He's not good. He's just not good. The opponent has scored 3+ runs in Elder starts in 20 of his 23 games when he takes the mound. He's given up 2+ earned runs in 12 straight starts. Obviously, 2 is a nice floor here when you only need 3 runs. He faced the Phillies on June 27th. Gave up an insane 9 earned runs on 10 hits with 4 walks. Phillies offense, one of the best home offenses in the league. Scored the third most runs per game at home at 5.3 per game. Smoking righties the last 3 weeks. Third highest WRC+, second highest OPS, second highest batting average. You know the drill. They are crushing it. Braves bullpen, not been great lately. Phillies obviously very familiar with them as they absolutely annihilated every one of them on Thursday. I expect the Phillies to get 3+ runs. Now the second one, maybe the biggest worry, but Rays team total over 2.5. You can look at this 2 ways. It's scary because it's the Rays offense. Not been great lately, but it's also exciting because we get to face Mitchell Parker in the Nationals bullpen. It's a combo that is just, it's made in heaven. It really is. I mean, this is one of the best matchups you can have. I'm going to choose option 2. So Mitchell Parker here, like I said, one of the worst starting pitchers in the league. In July, 6.04 ERA, 3.13 average against, and a 1.66 whip. How about August? Surely it has to be better, right? Nope. 12 ERA in 21 innings, 3.37 average against, and a 1.95 whip. How this man is still pitching every 5th day, I mean, obviously it's the Nats. They don't care right now, but he has very identical splits to righties and lefties. Again, another guy who does not discriminate who he gives up hits to. Over a 5x xFIP to both righties and lefties. He's made 26 starts. 23 of those opponents have ended the game with 3 or more runs. Behind him, obviously, is a bad Nationals bullpen. Now, the Rays offense, first lefties last 3 weeks, 22nd WRC+, but they've shown some power. 18th in slugging, 18th in ISO power, so it's not absolutely terrible or anything. In fact, the last 6 lefties to face the Rays, Messick dominated them. He's a rookie who's made 2 really good starts so far, but they got 4 off Liberatore, 2 off Rodon. Obviously, Rodon and Mitchell Parker, totally different type of pitchers, but shut out by Jacob Lopez. He's done that a lot this year. Got 4 off Jeffrey Springs, 4 off Tyler Anderson. So when they face, average, below average lefties, they can score off them. And again, they're the road team. 9 guaranteed at bats versus a terrible pitcher and a terrible bullpen. Give me the Rays to score 3+ runs. Now the final leg, Dodgers team total over 2.5. This Dodgers offense has come to life. That's for sure. Coming off a 3-game sweep of the Reds where they scored 18 runs. They've now scored 26 in the last 4 games. This offense, when they are at home, there's no one better. The number 1 offense, scoring 5.74 runs per game. They've scored 3+ runs in 57 of 68 home games. That's pretty good. 3+ runs in 17 of the last 20 home games as well. Facing Gallon of Milk, as I've said before, he's pitched a little bit better, but he's still not great by any means. Giving up 3+ runs in 8 of his 13 road starts. Faced the Dodgers back on May 11th. It wasn't good. 10 hits and 4 earned runs he gave up. He's going to give up some runs here. I just know he is. Behind him is a bad D-backs bullpen. You got to love that. So give me the Phillies, the Rays, and the Dodgers to all score 3+ runs. That is my third and final best bet. Probably going to have at least one added play. It's not a card I absolutely love, but I'll dig some more in the morning as well. That'll be in the pinned comments below, so be sure to check it out. But before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. My 3 best bets so far. Give me the A's on the money line, -130 for a half unit. Zach Littell over 16.5 outs at even money for a half unit. And the alt team total parlay for 1 unit. Phillies, Rays, Dodgers, all to score 3 or more runs. That's what I got for you. Thank you guys for all the support this week. Next week is a big one. We are still doing baseball, but we're also having a lot of football videos as well, so it's going to be busy here. But again, appreciate the support. Hope you guys have a great Friday and a great Labor Day weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.